afternoon, everybody. Nice to see everybody looking smart and sober. Do you want to top up? I prepared like a superb speech for today, but now that I'm married, I've been told I've got to read this one out instead. So right, so on behalf of myself and my ex-girlfriend, Cheryl here, the new Mrs. Ramsay, will have a cheer for her. So, just massive thanks basically for everybody for coming. We appreciate that some of you have travelled long distances. We're at Cyprus, Bournemouth. We've got the Sunderland lot who's flown down from Rome around there. So basically, thanks everybody for coming. Seriously, it's great to have so many of our friends and family here. But when I say friends and family, it's all the same to me because my friends are my family, and my family and my friends as well. So having said all that, it would have been a hell of a lot cheaper if this didn't come. But I've done the maths, and I think we can easily make the money back if we take Vince's empties back the off-legs. And Lee's already been instructed the damn dot lads and nicking all the cutlery. So Lee will be in clear profit before the disco starts. We're in profit already. Is everybody's toast glass? Everybody charged? There's a few people who can't be here today. It's been a tough few years for lots of people in the room, not just us. We haven't lost family, close friends. There's a few of our friends who's not in the best of health at the minute, but I won't name them all. Cheryl's particularly close to her granddad Tommy, just like I was to my granddad Bobby. Right? I'm sure they're up there now looking down on us, moaning about the price of the toast. That's what they'll be like. So if we just raise a glass, absent family and friends. So to absent family and friends. Cheers. Cheers, aye. Sorry, forgot the cheers. Right, so time to move on to the star of the show now. My lovely wife, Cheryl. She's reading it all before I'm even saying I'd like to say how stunning she looks, if everybody agrees.
Yes.
You can all just get your phones out and give her a quick like on Facebook. If not, just throw a sheep at her or something like that. No, on a serious note, I can't praise her highly enough because she's basically organised and planned everything here today. Everything what you say, she's basically done. She's had a little bit of help, but it's all gone down herself, right? So I particularly like the way she left me out of it altogether. That was a wise move because I would have had a few more tellies talking about racing on in the football, you know what I mean? But that was a wise move. I did get the occasional word in, kind of like, watch. Well, I did get the odd word in, right? And on the seating plan, I had a small input on the seating plan. Everybody who bought expensive gifts, I would go that side. So, cheers for them black pin ladders. Right, so me and Cheryl will be together. I best get this right now. I think it was about 11 years, was it? October 2003? Aye. Very romantic setting where we met, right? Slow music playing. I was getting at that. Slow music playing. McDonald's. No, he likes pretending, you know what I mean? Flares nightclub. So lads playing magic, playing like some cool cover, I was on the dance floor like that, rah, rah, and then Sharon comes stumbling on the dance floor like a centipede with 16 years old. Just hold the lips straight on. Because I ran straight me back put So anyway, we exchanged numbers. I had a number saved in my phone as Sharon. But it's loud in flares and I couldn't understand how they put it in at the time. What's your name? Sharon, like that'll do. So we texted each other for a month. That was in the October. And obviously the next month, that's really when the fireworks started. I'm not joking, it was bonfire night. So I thought, right, time for a nice meal, you know, champagne, caviar, oysters, right? But Burger King didn't sell me, so I only had 15 quid in the car. So Sharon was eating a burger. Manias and all over there. I was on babysitting Joey's old bed, that's what he always was. I was about 7-year-old. I took him out of the nightclub and God knows. He was saying, John, you're going to have to pack her in. I said, oh, I thought only 3 quid chicken burger, my friend. No, who's going to take us to the match now? You've got a girlfriend. Then, being a bottle of coke, and he went, oh no, she's got a car, she touched me away again. So basically, to get her involved in the family, she had a red vest and a driving licence, so that she was accepted. Right. Anyway, on to the day. As Sharon will tell you, I'm not usually emotional, never ever. Lazy, carefree, too laid back, and then stronger words when I'm not taking out. Take that back about lazy. I am.
It was 3 to 4 to finish John's.
No, but I think when you see 2 kids walking down the middle of the aisle, I'm shaking them now with legs. And I'm starting down a bit with the sign wrapped around their neck. What was it? What did it say?
Run, Daddy.
Run, Daddy. I know it's
Last chance, Daddy.
I think you've got to be inhuman, not to be emotional at that. And then obviously the woman you're about to marry, like the mother of the band walking behind them. Obviously I was close to tears actually. So I was going to tell them I love the bitch, but they're clearly not listening. That's that we're going. No, so now I just want everyone just to raise the glasses to the bride. So we're just. She's a beautiful person on the outside, but she's even more beautiful on the inside. So just always a glass to Cheryl. Right now, just got just a few gifts we'd like to give out. Just a small token of thanks to people like family members and friends who've supported us through the years. So first, I'd just like to ask Cheryl's mum, Anne, and their stepdad Keith if they can come up and just get the presents. Keith, you're too far away for a kiss, so I'll just send you. Are you going to kiss Anne? Right, next is my mum and her husband Ken. If you should just both come up and get your presents. Yeah, that's one of your presents, Ken. You've got to keep that. Next, Cheryl's dad Peter and our partner Pam, if you can come up, please. Is there any bridesmaids in the room? Ellie, can you come
just got a present for you. Wow.
Take you out the keeper, okay?
Hi, Ali. Ali, come on in. George, do you want to open it?
Right, so I just think, you know, I'm going to toast to the bridesmaids. I know there's only two of them, but they've been very well behaved.
Oh, massive.
So, to the bridesmaids, Millie and
Sorry, darling.
Right. I've also got a film picture here. I'm not sure I should keep out of this like today what you've got to see. Right. Every group needs a best man that you can totally rely on, like someone who's organised, responsible, trustworthy and genuine. I didn't really know anybody like that, so I just I'm not going on too much about my and bride's friendship with Dan Batalon. I just think it says a lot that he's turned up on the day when Sunderland's playing. No. Anybody on our bride will understand that if Sunderland reserves would put a little bit of a B team on the moon, they'd be sitting down when they're watching the So thanks for turning up, bride. Right, so that's it from me. Without further ado, I'll now pass you on to my best man.
Here we go.
Right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Brian, and I am the best man. John's asked me to try and keep the speech similar to my mate Stobby over there, short and sweet. But it's more like Porter. Long, dark, and very naughty. Therefore, would you please make yourselves comfortable, because over the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to try and make John as uncomfortable as I possibly can. According to custom, one of my roles as a best man is to tell stories about the groom and generally insult and embarrass him. So, not wanting to break custom, here it goes. I must admit, I am a little nervous today, because John has told me if I do a good job, I can be best man in his next one as well. But I must start with saying, and I'm sure you'll all agree, how beautiful Cheryl looks today.
Oh, she did.
I'm sure Cheryl will even agree, she's nearly had the attention taken away from her by how stunning Millie and Ellie look as well. The first task I was given by Cheryl was to make sure that John's exit stayed clear for the wedding. This was actually made pretty easy for us, because first place, there wasn't many to start with. And second place, Stephen Frost and Anthony Smith had prior arrangements. Well, what can I say about the lucky man himself? John was born on the 25th of January 1979, about the size of a small baby. And he's got older on a year-by-year basis. John is funny, charming, thoughtful, honest, trustworthy, good-looking. This is where John's going to join in. When I see an exhibit, he'll show you a picture. I first met John in the early 1990s when we started to attend Monk Female School together, which is the exhibit here. John, Kevin Austin and Lee Robinson used to sell the luncheon vouchers on a dinner night. was the Dovedale Road Wally champion between 1990 and 1999. As a group, the majority of us do like to gamble now and again. And that's how it all started. So around the time we were 13, John was a really good footballer. Not quite as good as Lee wouldn't make you believe, because at one point he had him down as a Messi. And another lad who wasn't as good as Messi, but prepared for games like he was John's brother Les. So one night, John and myself had been out dripping. Is that what Les? Oh, sorry, drinking. And when we got back to John's, John and Les started arguing over something, and Les was saying he was going to Glasgow to Cowley for having a few cans earlier in the night. And we only got 13 at the time. But eventually they kissed and made up. It must have been the early hours of the next morning when we got to sleep, only to be woken about 6 o'clock by Les, who was out at Dame Square with his full kit on, shin pads, boots, fixed vapor rope, everything, deep stretches, because he had a game for the school at 11 o'clock the next day. But as a group of lads, we are very close-knit. We've always got each other's backs, and because we've grown up together, we all know each other inside out, and each other's deepest, darkest secrets. For example, I can remember all of the lads' first kisses. Therefore, I'm going to need a little bit of guest participation there. First example, one of the lads was about 21-year-old when he had his first kiss. The girl was dressed in a fairy outfit in Sunderland Town Centre and was in a bar called Marlowe's. So could that person please stand up? Another one of the lads' first kiss was in Walker Park with a girl called Deborah Barber Beefcake. Ladies and gentlemen, it's moving swiftly on. This was big news around school at the time. Something that this person is always denied until this day. The girl was called Charlotte, and it was in Gladstone Street, Walker. Yes? Stay good, Paul. Your 10 would work. Mr. Name was the teacher. Strangely enough, his wife Lindsay is the same name. So could that person please stand up? Lastly, but not least, it was actually a sad occasion. Sunderland were live on ITV about 1993 on the Sunderland dinner time, and we got beat 1-0 against Crystal Palace. A few years later, one of the lads actually proposed to the same girl via DJ in the Chambers nightclub in Sunderland. The girl was called Julie. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to that person, please stand up.
Something up there. It wasn't me who proposed to Julie. It was my friend who proposed.
I said it
And what happened? She said no. Of course, when I was 14, I kissed her first. She still said no.
So, after leaving school, John went on to play professional football for Doncaster. And after signing his first professional contract, which is Exhibit C, and Exhibit D.
Oh, no.
Anyway, speaking of contracts, I think I'm going to need Charlotte's help on this one.
Contract.
I'm an even match.
Charlotte, can I please ask you to read out the following?
Oh no.
Would you stand up, please?
I, Sharon Ramsay, Cowley. Hereby, this is what's brought on here.
Yeah.
Hereby give my permission for John William Ramsay to attend the Cheltenham Festival. For better or for worse, sickness and health, from this day forward until death do us part.
And can you please tell the audience who's already signed it?
John
And who witnessed it? Anyway, back to John's Doncaster days. This was around the time he was introduced to a couple of people who he has a very strong connection with to this day. William Hill and Paddy Power. So, on leaving Doncaster, moving back to Sunderland, I obviously started to see John more often again. And this was when the trouble started. He got a flat on Seaboard, which was opposite the bookies. And as you know, John likes a bet now and again. I used to pop down and see him most days, because I was at university at the time. And with him living on his own, there was no home cooked meals, and he wasn't looking after himself like he perhaps should have been. With bills to pay, and us going out more than we perhaps should have been, he didn't have much left over, so every pound was a prisoner. One occasion, John remembers fondly, was when he was down to his last £20, and he bumped into me dad. The war so loves a bit. John was going back 5-1 dog, and my dad got out of it and talked about something else. Yeah, you've guessed it. John's dog won, and my dad bet came strong while last. John wasn't best pleased, even less so when my dad just laughed at him and says, "Well, that's gambling for your son. You let him in the Another night, we'd been up the Blue Bell, which was our local at the time on the drink, and I went home, only for the house phone to ring, and my mum came running in and woke me up saying, "You better get out, John's, there's some lads trying to break in his flat." So, I jumped in the car, went down, chased him down Seaboard, and a pair of shorts, and around his butt, Exhibit A. That is an exact bad, by the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the only time in my life that I've actually drunk and drove, and it was all down to John. But the best part was, John was stood at the window, watching down, shouting out, "Right, I've gone yet." Which was what I thought was very good of him. And that wasn't the last time I've saved his skin. We'll go that later. So, on to his King Brothers days, which was when he played for the football team. Moving on, I got John to sign for my brother's football team, which was called King Brothers at the time. And John played a large part in them becoming the most successful Sunday League sides at the time, which is Exhibit F. That was the deal we won the County Cup.
Glory to his name, ladies and gentlemen.
In fact, he played alongside another of today's guests, Vincent Brand. With John, Vin, and a lad called Lee Blackett playing in midfield, they became known as one of the ugliest midfielders ever in football. Exhibit G. We'll pass this round here to Lee Blackett in the top right hand corner. Obviously, don't let your kids see it unless it's safe in the Right, I must tell a couple of quick stories regarding football, regarding John and Vin. In a quick final, Vin at the time was on the opposition playing for the team called Weymouth. We were massive favourites to win the game before the game. Yeah, 10-1, John had a better one. But we found ourselves 2-1 down. Village scored a free kick from about 35 yards, while more, it was a cross. To put my mouth 2-1 up with about 10 minutes to go. John goes and grabs the equaliser late in the game, only to run and jump over the tyres which surrounded the full perimeter of the ground. Only I heard a massive string ball, which he didn't realise he was up to his waist in nettles. He then turns round to see if any of his teammates were following him, only for all of the team just to be standing behind the door and laughing at him. But thankfully we went on to win the game 3-2. Another cup final, Finn, who was now playing for us at the time, got sent off after 5 minutes. You'll find out why later tonight, as he's one of the cheekiest blokes you'll ever meet. Right? So played against a strong opponent on the side. John, who was now known as the James Messi, had an absolute blinder. To be fair, he was outstanding on the day, and he was easily man of the match. So 10 men were winning 3-0 with minutes to go, and all second half I'd been shouting, double Lennon, double Lennon. Neil Lennon, who was playing for Leicester at the time, a week earlier, had sat on the ball during the game. So, obviously John couldn't do it. At the end, he finally accepted it was time to sit on the ball. Big massive show of disrespect, obviously. And the only way I could describe this was, it was like a scene out with Benny Hill, because you had officials, players, managers running at him from the opposition touchline trying to kick his head in, basically. And again, I came to the rescue.
Waving up baseball back.
And so, on about 100 years in trips up here. You do love him, Charlotte, didn't you?
Health resorts and spas, they were.
Definitely do want all that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have in truth led a colourful and adventurous social life. On the journey has been lots of laughter, tears and scrapes, brilliant night outs and holidays abroad. Far too many to mention here. We've been Tenerife, Magaluf, Valerati, Zante, places in England, Hull, Barnsley, Liverpool, Dartmouth, England, Hartlepool, etc. And believe me, I have seen some things, right? I can't for legal reasons speak about many stories that it's occurred and all of that. It's what goes on tour, stays on tour. But I would like to share two in particular, and both concerning John and the guest who will be tonight by the name of Barry Howard. Now, Cheryl will agree that our Lord Barry is a really nice lad, lovable. He's absolutely vile. Horrible. Disgusting. By the way, we work source. We work source and how to do. So, the first story was exactly, all the lads were sitting on the balcony having a few quiet afternoon drinks like we normally did. And John decides that to sit on that balcony, you had to get naked, because there was too warm for shorts. That was the rules then. That was the rules. Barry bluntly refuses, but John didn't accept it. So there's a little balcony ledge, Barry jumps over the top, runs across the grass, and with him not being very agile, John follows in pursuit, naked. Rugby tackles him to the floor. Honest, stealing the noise of the cracking now. John had only broke his collarbone. So Baz is lying nagging and John's standing with neck on laughing his head off. So the following year, was the Valerati, John comes up with the same idea. Barry, not wanting to fall victim of a broken bone, this time decides to join in. Just after Barry removes his shorts, and this is a true story of how he's manipulated John's batters up, this young anorexic cat. Who's homeless? A young homeless anorexic cat. Adam Simon and all. Walks past, catches sight of Baz. This is the truth. Looks at him naked, and in shock, the cat walks up to the tree, put his palm against it, shook its head in disgust, and started spewing. Vomited all over the
Do you need the custody?
So, John made sure no more lads holidays. Exhibit H.
Oh, God.
She never met you looking like that.
John's touched this briefly in his speech, but that's obviously written so I'll do it. The men is summoned on November the 1st, 2003 in Whitehall Flares. Cheryl, obviously our friends know that, was doing double somersaults, the crowd, cartwheels, tumbling creams and what else across the dance floor at the time. For those of you who are unaware what Flares was like, the normal clientele in there would look out place in Star Wars campaign. Arguably, the roughest bar in Sunderland at the time, since it's obviously been closed down. The only way I can describe it as being rough is resembled Chubby Bates Allotment in the late 1980s. So, when I found out where Cheryl was from, I was worried, because John's extremely hairy. And considering what goes links with monkeys. Both have stayed strong over the years, and nobody can deny the brought two beautiful little girls into the world. Although they haven't stayed little for long, and soon will be heading to the likes of Flares themselves.
Oh, no.
9 years later, to the exact day they met, a proposal was made, and they've decided to marry. When I first met Cheryl, I got the impression of a beautiful, caring, thoughtful, and clever person, which I've always believed that until today. But that's been ruined by her agreeing to marry John. However, I do feel marriage will make John a better person. It will teach him consideration for others, self-control, sharing, and will develop him in a sense of fair play and many other useless qualities he wouldn't have needed if he remained single and came to Thailand with me every year. So, when John asked me to be best man, part of me was honoured, part of me was 25, but mostly I was laughing inwardly that he's finally admitted after all these years that I am in fact the best man. To John and Cheryl, have lots of happy years to come with you and your family, love, Cat and Millie. Not the best of technicians, to be honest. To John and Cheryl, sorry we can't make it happen to you. We saw John grow up from a pleasant young boy to the gentleman he is now. And can we thank him for all his extremely generous donations over the years, wishing you a fantastic future together. All our love, the girls from Cowley bookends on the To Cheryl and John, love and best wishes from Mum and Keith. To John and Cheryl, can't believe the big deal is actually here. We are so happy for you both, as all are who know you. Many wishes that you'll always be as happy as you are today. Lots of love from Lee, Cowley and Sean. I think Cowley.
Cowley, I'm sure with that.
They're not Japanese, John.
So quite new they are. For both of you on Christmas. To John and Cheryl, wishing you a wonderful future together. Thank you for letting me be part of your special day. I owe you £5 English. Lots of love, Lee Ramsay. Oh well, Lee.
What are you for, yes?
They stick on the coat.
Look at that, please.
To John and Cheryl and girls, congratulations on your wedding. Hope you have a wonderful future together. Lots of love, Kev, Kaylee and family.
Cheers,
Right, to finish off, John and Cheryl have finally got married, for better or for worse, which is quite appropriate, as John couldn't have done any better, and Cheryl certainly couldn't have done any worse. But on a sincere note, I couldn't think of two nicer people, which I'm sure you'll all agree, and they both make a fantastic couple. I'd like to say a big thank you to John and Cheryl for asking me to be your best man today, because it has indeed been a privilege to carry out an honour. So we'll take it. I'm now coming to the end, which I'm sure we'll be thankful for. So I'd just like to say one thing, that marriage is not about finding someone you can live with, it's about finding someone you can't live without. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, with great pleasure, may I ask you all to be upstanding, raise your glasses in the toast, and guide the groom, you, Mr. and Mrs. Ramsay.
Please,